Just to confirm, Jessica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. You can see the screen, right? Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Welcome everybody to your lunch.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. My name is Valentina Beltram. I'm one of the partners at Belt. Here is part of my team, Viviana. She's our client relations manager. Alejandra, she's an architect and she's one of my right hand. And Juana, she's the marketing and she's visiting from Colombia. That's why she has the camera and everything. Thanks for time saying this.
One of our employees.
So we're all from Colombia actually. That's where I'm originally from and where the company was founded. Before I get started, I always like asking do you guys know a little bit about us? What are your metal challenges? Anybody wants to anybody knows about Belt a little bit? Seen us? No?
Neil and I went to the ICAA lecture talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. We know a little bit.
Okay, you get a lot of it. So Alejandra, Juana, I love the team, but they designed with me the lectures, so that's a fun one to have. Who else knows?
We did fountain spouts a year or so ago for one of our clients, and no complaints, and they look beautiful, so
Awesome.
great.
Awesome. And the other question is what are your current metal challenges? How do you you use metals in your projects? Where are you using the metals? How do you see the metal in the future projects, or what are your challenges? I guess. It looks like you have a lot of challenges.
From my perspective, every once in a while I have to do some kind of very custom fountain spout, or recently there was a fire feature that kind of needed a special grill over top. So they're always kind of very unique things that I can't just buy off the shelf. And then we work with a local metal fabricator, but I've seen what you guys can do, and for bigger, more elaborate assemblies. It seems like you guys are so amazing.
All right. Anybody else's challenges?
I think it's the biggest challenge for us is we know what we want and nobody's made it. And so finding someone that works with us is the important part. So customize it for our homes. We're, even before the other events and stuff, we're in your company from that side. You see what it is.
Awesome. Well, so I'm gonna share a little bit about so I always start telling a little bit the story about the company, about Belt. So it's family business. I'm the second generation. The company was founded by my parents. They are both architects. My father in particular had a passion on urban design, architecture, and art. My mom more in construction, more the doing part of architecture. And they did their studies in France, and when they came to Colombia, they both had their practices as architects. But my father had a site studio for a Houston artist and a sculptor. And he ran into a project of a friend that had this beautiful Art Nouveau design building. It was just a concept of commercial, multifamily residential. And he was like, oh, it's nice that they were doing some ornamental Art Nouveau work, it's kind of eclectic. And the architect was like, yeah, I kind of sold this, but nobody here is able to do this type of work here in Colombia. The craft of metal is really basic. So my father was like, yeah, give me let me see the plans, let me see what we can do, what I can do. I have a studio. Originally it was only a few items on the facade, but after he bid on the first project, which was something in the facade, and then they started becoming creative and collaborating, and they designed hundreds of pieces for the building. It was a duplex, so they did stairs, railing, balcony. So the first project of the company was actually a side project originally. And it became like a huge, like one at a time, like a master's in metal architecture. And that's how it started. My father continued doing his practice as an architect as a side business, and this became the main business with my mom. And that's like 38 years ago almost. And this is a few images of that first project, which was like a challenge. It was in Colombia. That was in 1985, 86. And like for the first like 15 years, there were a lot of projects. Most of the projects that we did were multifamily residential, like single family residential custom homes, a lot of hospitality, hotels, and it was really like an interesting process, because it was basically like co-designing a lot of the project. My father being an architect and an artist, he did a lot of input on the he really got involved in the project really early stages. It was part of the concept of the whole building design, and that's how it started. It was really successful. We had a lot of projects in Colombia, South America, and Central America. And there was a huge, like this past project was like these are the typical projects they did back then. And there was a huge crisis in Colombia, 1999, the same one we had here in the US in 2009. There was 10 years earlier, and the whole construction industry crashed. And that's when he decided to come to the US and explore, especially on the high-end residential. They had a few projects back then, but just like in the boards. And that's how everything started here. It was like about around 2000, 1999, 2000. And we really focused on high-end residential for the first like 15, 20 years of our here. Right now we have expanded a little bit more into we still maintain the boutiques, so boutique hospitality, hotels, and like temples where our craft is really needed. But before I go forward and I tell more about like who we are right now, I always like sharing a video that explains better than me.
Our hands. In an era governed by machines, assembly lines, and mass production, we pride ourselves to have mastered a tool like no other. One that has accompanied men and women since the beginning of time, allowing them to experience and explore the world around. At Belt, we use our hands to draw, to melt, to shape, to engrave, to forge, to emboss. We turn ordinary pieces of metal into extraordinary masterpieces. We bring together our love for metal, our expertise in the material, and our drive to take challenges. We push boundaries to inspire those in the quest for design excellence, outstanding quality, and unparalleled commitment. To fulfill our ultimate purpose, to bring our clients' dreams into reality. We are dreamers, we are artists, we are designers, we are makers, we are Belt.
Is that your dad's hands?
Yes, you got it. Yeah, he's a great designer, but also like his drawings are beautiful. So right now, fast forward, we're about to have looking right now like 200 people. Like for the type of business we do, is a really big company because we really want to maintain the craft, and that's what we're really proud of. Really being able to kind of like avoid having to say this is a lost craft or lost art. I know there's a lot of out there on how the video say there's like mass production, a lot of like cookie cutter metal or anything in general, but like we're really proud that we're able to train our team. We have like an apprenticeship program in-house that allows us to like maintain and also like scale, like being mindful of the craft, the quality. I was like saying when they have this photo here that we're a team of teams, and the way we work is we have like, let's say two big parts of the company. One is in front of the client, so it's us and the project managers. We have one in Southeast Florida, one in South of Florida, one in New York, and then we take projects anywhere from there. But that they are like their best partner are our Colombian team, which is comprised for like designers, architects, and engineers that develop the product, that develop project, and they follow through the whole manufacturing process, which is also a team of teams. So even though we have about like 100 people in the shop, they really work by teams. So the way we work is we're able to maintain like the master craftsman mindset, and somebody takes the project from start to finish and really follows through. So we're able to really have like a bigger scope of work. We can take more projects, take more bigger scopes, but to really still maintain the craft that we offer, that we promise. So we're proud of that. And for us, it's always that, like when we say, it always starts with a dream. It's always your client's dream that it becomes your dream. When you collaborate with us, or we collaborate with you, it becomes our dream. And for us, it's really all about collaboration. We can take any project from really, as I said, concept. Really, we have an idea of something architecturally, when a metal design input, we can really take it from there. Or if you already have the product or the metal design, we can also do a lot of design, more than just design like develop. These are some sketches of projects we've done, some creative, some like sort of artistic, some more like technical. The common denominator on these is like there's the need for the metal craft along the process, and what we do is when we design something, we're actually thinking of how it's built. So it's not like we try to avoid, and when we do proposals, we take some time to do it, because we want to make sure that when we're proposing or we're actually voting, let's say, it's really thought through and that it's actually buildable. We can actually know exactly how it's done. And it's not like a normal, like a base price, and then we're gonna just add a lot of change orders because we wanted these things and that, a better quality or a better details or something. So we can do like from concept to design to obviously all the product development, all the shop drawing process. It's already really developed for manufacturing, and then we have obviously all the capabilities to do prototypes, mock-ups, everything. Like sometimes, a lot of the times, when we say 80%, 90% of the times, their products we've done for the first time. Even it's a stair that we have done before. It's a different layout, it's a different location, it's a different client, it's a different finish. So we really like that part of sometimes we do like first time prototypes, and it's a prototype of a staircase. So it's really not it's a huge one prototype. So we do a lot of like mock-ups to validate what we design, what we draw, so that we know how it's built. And as I was saying, we have all the capabilities to do all the type of prototyping, in sandcast, modeling. We have sculptors in house that have been with us for a long time, and then we make the magic with we've made magic with metal. So for a craftsmanship process, for those who went to the event, probably explain a little bit more there of like the type of craftsmanship. But we have all the metal trades in house. Like I've seen most of the metal trades in house. The only thing we don't do in house is the powder coated paints. First, because liquid paints have the same properties, and they're limited at powder coating, and because that's really not a specialty. And like powder coating or like anodizing, those type of like finishes are usually specialized. But we normally do not recommend a powder coating because since all of our projects are custom install, powder coating cannot be touched. Just a side note on that. So that's really something. The only thing we don't do. Other than that, we really do everything. From forging, and you already know this, so you cannot participate. My test. All good. So we do like a lot of the times, like especially in South Florida, since the weather is really like a big consideration in architecture and design, construction. Aluminum is like the choice for exteriors unless the client has a budget for bronze or stainless steel. Unfortunately, aluminum has had like in the world, in the industry, there's like a mindset that aluminum is like cheap. It's like not like a rich material. But since we've been in Florida for many years, we really managed to do like a piece of aluminum and bronze that look exactly. Aluminum and wrought iron that look exactly the same. That can be swap and like you use an exteriors, keeping the same richness of the craft and that all that. So this is in aluminum. So this is a forged in aluminum of one of the peacock gates that you see later, and it's really, you can forge anything, really can create it as a you want. I like to do these two. These both, one is aluminum, one is steel. There's a price if somebody that wants to tell me which one is aluminum without touching. If you touch one, is lighter than the other one.
She was in the event.
No, but yeah, this one is when you're in the event right now.
Like,
On the right.
Okay.
Same. The right side.
Aluminum. Okay. Anybody else wants to participate?
Over there.
Yeah, I suppose I thought the right.
The right aluminum? Okay.
No.
So far right from half.
So you guys won.
Mm.
So this was aluminum.
Oh.
If you can pass it, it's obviously lighter. And this one actually, the sheen is like, this one has a little bit more sheen, but it really doesn't matter. You can do satin on both or super glossy on both.
You just tell by the
But the craft, like the level of forging, you can achieve exactly the same textures, very
The
similar.
winner que esa pena.
it's no doubt.
They get one thing, even in my.
The light.
So that's all that I always like explaining that, of course. Yeah, the weight is different, and in a lot of cases, in here in Florida, it's impossible to use wrought iron in exteriors. In New York or Texas, we use it all the time. But in Florida, you can actually achieve the same, a similar, a very like almost identical aesthetic in terms of like the craft and the forging part of it. I have another. You can participate for another. So, not only you can do aluminum, but you can also, with aluminum, you can do this with any metal. You can do mostly the same finishes. I have bronze and aluminum here. So one is a bronze patina, real bronze patina, so just patina, and the other one is a faux finish with paint. So you can start here. If you're not touching different. You can use the patina. One is the bronze and one is the aluminum. Okay, no worries. There's only a 50-50 chance. Bronze or aluminum? Which one is bronze, which is aluminum?
You have to flip them over.
I can, but they're the same.
No, but
Not,
it's the exact same.
not because they're casted, so.
Time's up.
Okay.
Two bronze.
So,
Two right.
so you said bronze, you said this one was bronze. Okay. I remember.
Two right and two left.
It's a little harder because there's so many little pieces.
Bronze.
Well, that's just one.
You said this one's aluminum? Yeah.
Going with that one. It's the drop.
Three right.
Okay, you remember your choice because I already forgot. So you need to remember.
Wow. Okay. Bronze.
Okay. Or so this one is the aluminum one. So who said this one was the bronze?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, well, I said that was
Yeah, you
bronze,
said
so
it
Yeah.
was the bronze. Yeah.
So we have 5.
So as you see, it's very hard to identify the finish. That was
That's difficult.
I just went with
You
the
need to do
opposite
another
one.
one. We just have 3 pens.
But there's like half you can follow it.
Yeah.
So who won?
He took one. No,
That's
no,
really,
we were
really.
passing.
No, because you won, I think, last time.
No, Brittany won.
Oh,
That's
you won.
Brittany.
That's
Oh.
Brittany.
She was just passing it around. She was there, so I just kept passing
Who
it.
else won?
Yeah, she won last
You
time.
won. You won. You won?
I don't think the last one.
No, just in the first time. Even if you got one twice, we only have one. Okay, so that's I always like saying is like that's part of like the craft, like to be able to like master something or like the finish that you can overlap. For exteriors, I would recommend something like this in aluminum because eventually, since it's paint, it wouldn't change that much. Just the sheen will change and it will be like way more flat. So you can use it, but just you need to be mindful that it needs some restoration over time because it's the way it's applied is not as it's durable in terms of like resistance, but it's not durable in terms of tone. So the ways, if I can get this for a second, I'll pass it one more time. Sorry, to be able to do this finish and to be able to get them right is instead of just applying brown tone below and then a light tone on top, the way this is done, it is done like this. So this is anti-corrosive paint, and then you apply the base color. So the base color is the color of the patina, of the original metal you want to mimic. So this is the base color of bronze, and then you apply the dark color on top. And after that, you buffer, remove the top layer, top coat, so that you actually get the color from the inside. And it's not just apply, which is most of the faux finishes are applying on top, like kind of like with like highlights. So that's when it looks faux finish, like looks fake. This is actually looks like it was a patina because it's kind of like the same process of patinating the metal. So I'll return that. So that's it. I always try to explain this. The other techniques we do in house other than forging and casting. So all this is casting. So you can it's unlimited. We do a lot of hardware, custom hardware for houses, from very traditional to contemporary. Then the other process is repoussage, which is this one and this one, and then that one over there, which is from a flat sheet of metal. You hammer the metal with different types of hammers and tassels, and you can get different shapes, like from very naive to kind of like neoclassic to like super traditional French repoussage. Do you guys know a little bit the difference between repoussage? I already explained the technique, but like the use of repoussage and casting, no? In architecture. So originally they are in like the way railings were done in France, in Europe. Before the castings, which is an industrial revolution technique that was developed for architecture, before that they only had flat sheets of metal. So they would use the flat sheet of metal to shape it, for like kind of like hammer it, forge it, and create the shapes for all the stairways and such. After the Industrial Revolution, they used the repoussage for the moldings, and with the moldings they would repeat to be a beautiful flower or leaf, and then they would repeat it in kind of a small series for a railing. So obviously the cost of doing repoussage versus casting, it's something somebody can take a day doing this versus you can do 10 in a day, let's say, just to put it in perspective. That's like the other technique, and then we have all the other like complementary techniques. So we do milling, all like CNC, like more like technological crafts to be able to complement our processes in house. So we can do from hardware to a cupola and everything in between. So there's no really a scope that we cannot get on. If there's a need of craft or like staircases, really you name it, we can make it. This is a good example of like how from concept to reality. It's a peacock gate that was designed. This was fully designed by my father, with the architect. This is in Coral Gables. Yes, probably Coral Gables is full of peacocks around. They're just walking around, and the house it's in the middle of the woods. It's really beautiful. So I should take a photo with a real peacock walking around, because they do walk around a lot around that gate. And this is all aluminum. So these leaf was one of like kind of like a sculptural one we made, but this is the same leaves, not feathers, of the peacock. So it's all done in aluminum with a dark paint patina, and we can do any craft from like very, very crafted, like what I was show here, with a bronze patina. This is like how the bronze evolves in the patina. So this is the raw bronze, and this is how it evolves to get like a greenish patina. We can accelerate it, or we can turn it over in bronze yellow, and then it will turn over. One of the things about like this type of bronze, and probably you're wearing the products you've used bronze, it's bronze reacts differently from where they are in the house. So if you want all the light fixtures, let's say, to look the same, it's better to do a pre-patina, because if one light fixture is facing the ocean and the other set of light fixtures are setting a shadow underneath the tree, the ones facing the ocean will turn literally blue-green very, very fast. And the ones underneath the shadow over a portico will turn green in 3 years. So if that's something they don't really age at the same time, even though they're in the same kind of location. It really depends on like if something's underneath the porch, they can get faster actually than if they're outside, because the water actually cleans. Florida rains a lot, so it actually cleans the light fixture. So that's something to consider. Like this gate was turned over pre-patinated, so they wanted kind of the whole house to match the finishes. This is a good example for this one, for those who went to the event. That's one of the ones we showed there. This is the kind of the mock-up for that project. It's all bronze, notched, very little, no weldings actually, but they're hidden. You're gonna pass it and see. The close the key is heavy. Yeah, that's not like the light. That's normally the type of craftsmanship that is kind of like the one that you don't see a lot of them handmade. Like there's handmade, but it's really like kind of perfect. Bronze allows you to have more perfect like sheen and tones.
Do you use primarily bronze and aluminum, or do you use like any metal?
Any metal. In exteriors, bronze and aluminum. In interiors, usually bronze and steel, and cold rolled steel, hot rolled steel, which I'll explain the difference in a second. This is another bronze, but this one has like the actual hammer, like touch. It's heavy. It is heavy, especially if you're sitting down. It's hard. You guys can see it. So this one is more like a crafted. That is more the same material, just different.
And what is the fit? Is it like
It's a dark patina. It's a dark patina. Yeah.
And then do you ever like seal the patina so that it stays the same?
You can seal it. For some applications we recommend it. For some we don't.
Right.
So you can seal it. The problem with sealing it is if you scratch it, you have to actually repair a big portion of it. And when you're repairing a patina that is sealed, once you remove the seal, you can change actually the patina underneath. So it's tricky. In interiors, is really stable. A patina, light or dark, it tends to be stable unless you're rubbing the hand all the time. But if you're rubbing the hand all the time, you don't want to have it with coated because of the same reason. Because if you need to restore it, you have to take the handrail and recoat it again. But it can be done both. We don't recommend to do any, even if it's in exteriors, if it's in front of the ocean or near the ocean, less than 2 miles from the ocean, we really do not recommend to do coated or like lacquered, because the salt and the wind, especially in Florida, actually like creates a small. Have you used hot roll, cold roll in your projects? No, you don't know.
Not very familiar.
Okay, so.
Heard the term.
We have some.
Okay, so hot roll and cold roll are basically the same alloy of steel. You can use it in terms of structural, in terms of it's pretty much the same. The difference is hot roll steel, it's rolled in hot, and cold roll steel is rolled in cold. What does that mean? Is when they're creating the stock pieces, one goes through the die hot, and one goes cold. The one that goes hot has to cool down, and when it cools, it creates a texture on top. It creates like something that's called the metal peel, or the steel peel, or the carbon peel, or calamine, depending on the technical language you want to call. So this peel is natural from the metal. This is a stock piece just out of our mill, right? Cold roll steel, since it goes through the mill, but by strike, like by force. So it doesn't really have cools. It goes cold, never cools. So the material doesn't change its appearance. So two things: the texture, and the other one, the edges. Cold rolled steel has sharp edges. Hot rolled steel, I'm gonna pass it, you probably won't see it, has in this case 2 sharp edges and 2 round edges. These are almost impossible to control when you order them from the metal suppliers. Sometimes they have to be rounded, sometimes they have to. It's impossible. That's nothing you can control. Cold rolled steel, there's normally is a kind of a rectified corner. So I'll pass it through this side. These ones. I'll pass the glass to this side. So in the glass, you actually see the rounded. They're more rounded. This is like actually rounded edge. That's not necessarily exactly the same case in all mills and all suppliers, but this one is super sharp. There's color, weight-wise, this might be heavier, but just because it's thicker, not because there's. So, how do you use this in application? I always use this photo for that. So, first, wrought iron, it's great for anything that looks rough. So looks like artistic, wrought iron, old world. That's like the best application. That doesn't mean that cannot look good for something that is contemporary or like that is. But it's just mindful that like all the tubings that exist have round edges. They won't be fully sharp edges if that's what you're looking for. Something like more refined and more like angled. In terms of a good application of cold rolled steel also is that it can be swapped for interior finishes because it can be patinated or get a patina on a bronze stone. Does it mean? So I can get a very similar tone. And the reason I'm going to pass this one and then this one, if you see that one has sharp edges. And if you were going to close your eyes, whoever had the square one, the rectangular ones. So if you take this one and the cold rolled, give it to me. Close your eyes. One is colder because it was there. The other one hasn't been touched. The edges are the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see really difference. So once it's a medium to dark color, you can get exactly the same patinas for interiors that are not exposed to water, to the elements, and things like that. So that's a good application. Obviously, thank you. Can I continue passing? That's a good application, and I'm going to use these because I have one here. These are new ones. But the difference is the material is hot, like the metal is hot, and the other one is cold. That's the difference.
How do you decide which one you want to use? Is if you want a sharp edge or you don't?
Yes.
Yeah. So one is that, and one is the texture. So for example, cold rolled is not good for forging, or you have to use a very minimal forging if you're using cold roll. Why? Because when you forge it, you're actually putting heat on it. And instead of having like a nice texture like this one, you're gonna have kind of like an orange peel, like it's peeling in a really bad way. So you can do it for like minor forges, but you shouldn't do it for like a forge piece, like the peacock. Bad decision. So cold roll is good for like sharp edges, like more like smooth areas, not forge, or minimum forging. And then it's great for patinas. It really has a great patina. Yeah. The hot roll also takes patina, but it won't look. They both take patina, but the difference is the hot roll, that means the cold roll, you can actually patina to look like bronze. Like for example,
And that's steel.
that's steel. It's a steel.
Steel.
Yeah. So this is bronze, right? That's right. No, this is a cold roll with a bronze patina.
Okay. Oh, okay, I got
Yeah.
you.
So it actually looks like
So
a
that's
bronze.
steel with bronze.
It's a
patina.
steel with a bronze patina. You can do
I thought you were handing it to me and saying this is
no,
bronze.
it's testing. And then there's you could do exactly the same patina in bronze. Like this is a wash patina. It's a little bit different, but like because this one has like 2 tones, but like the base color looks very similar. So
Yeah.
these ones you can use cold roll patina for interiors that are not exposed to the elements. If you were gonna do it in a kitchen, you could do a clear coat in that case because it's not something you're rubbing all the time. You're not like passing the hand all the time. Or you can use it and make sure you have a very good maintenance in field, and it can be retouched on site. So that's a good thing. So I will share this photo that this is all done in bronze, and this was like the secondary stair all done in cold roll, only with a top bronze. That's what is the benefit of cold roll. That is obviously less money, less price than bronze. And for interiors, we can really even combine them, and really works pretty well.
Combine them on like the same piece even?
Yes.
Yes,
You
yes,
don't
except
notice a difference.
not a lot of bronzing, not a lot of forging. That's the only thing. You can actually, like, if it's the same thing we've done, and they look very, very similar.
What do you consider as minimal forging?
Like for example, this one has one detail here, and that's forged.
Okay.
The thing is, it's more for we can do it. It's not a problem. What we have to do is do a reprocessing after it's forged to rectify all the edges. So you can rectify 1 foot over like 10 feet, right? But if you're doing a whole railing and you have to rebuff, like retouch all the detail and the finishes, it's better to do it in another material because all the money that you're spending on refinishing, it's better spend it in bronze. You know what I mean? So I think that's the difference. It's not that it cannot be done. It can be done, but it's not really cost effective to do. And at the end, it doesn't necessarily is not going to be as smooth as if it was originally in bronze. That is naturally smooth. What I mean? Yeah, here. Okay, good.
And cold roll you can hammer because sometimes they ask for cold roll with hammer.
No, you can't.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you can, but it's not. If you're gonna hammer,
It's gonna
then
be hard.
you can do it. Everything can be done, but it's not cost effective. If you want a hammer piece, then you're gonna go with wrought iron, which is the original like hammer rustic feeling, right? That's kind of like the thing. I'll send you a note on that because sometimes it can be confusing. Looking great. Just a few like.
So if you're saying if you wanted to achieve the look of hammered wrought iron, you would use bronze to do that?
You would
If
use
you-
wrought iron.
Huh?
You would use wrought
No,
iron.
but if you're wanting to put it in an environment where,
Aluminum in that case, aluminum.
oh, that was my question. Is
Yeah.
If you want to achieve that look, but you can't use iron,
Aluminum.
you would use aluminum.
You could use bronze, but it won't have that rusticity. Bronze is that like the railing, the big railing we passed.
Okay.
You hammer it, but it doesn't have like that texture that this has. So it can has a hammer texture, but it doesn't really have a hammer, like a really rough texture.
It's not as like rustic.
It's not as
more
rustic,
refined.
exactly. Bronze is more refined. You can hammer it, but it still looks like very like sleek.
More elegant.
That's a good way to put it.
The aluminum tends to do the same thing, right? If you were trying to emulate.
Yes, but in aluminum you do faux finishes like this one with the paint. So what we do is we actually that texture that the wrought iron has, we actually put it on the aluminum.
Bless you.
Yes. So
If
these-
if you were doing a flat rail piece like that, you could still make it look like the wrought iron
We can do
by
it.
layering the paint,
The
the
paint.
millage of the paint. is
Mhm,
what you're doing to
exactly.
create that. Okay.
And then at the end, there's a trick. We put wax on it, so that it doesn't look like a sheen paint
Right.
to it. So like this is a wrought iron, real wrought iron, like with all the hammering. Like all this is like you don't see any welding. Is pierced. It's like not. It's how do you call this? It's riveted. This is like a natural iron tone, so it's kind of like a light gray. You can get a very similar, like this piece here, we can get a very, very similar texture in the aluminum. When you lift it, it's not going to be as heavy as this one. But it's, never know if it stands up or not. I will be mindful of your time, so I'm going to start. So these are some examples of like railings, details. This is in bronze, so you see it's like very smooth. It is forged, but the forge is like it's forged, it's all interlocked, so you have, instead of having like overlap, it's interlocked, so halfway interlocked. Doors, bronze doors, that's something we also can do a lot. What we do here in Florida for the NOA, so having an NOA, what we do is we do a comparative analysis, engineering comparative analysis, which most counties accept, except like Miami Beach, which is the only one. that is tricky with that. But other than that, we can. These are doors in Palm Beach, in Fort Lauderdale, Boca, Naples, but no problem. And with the hurricanes, perform the same as other doors. So these are examples. This is more like a wrought iron. This is done in. Actually, this one is in wrought iron, which is rare that we do something in Florida in wrought iron. The client, it was an old Spanish colonial Spanish house, and it was original, and the client wanted, and he was okay. He paid for every 6 months for us to do maintenance, because now if it's in front of Miami Beach, it's just getting rust all the time. This one survived because it's in the front of the house, not in the back, in front of the ocean. We actually advised him to change the ones in front of the ocean. He just wanted wrought iron. We did galvanize and everything to do it, but it doesn't support those. He ended up changing it for aluminum like 2 years later, because the maintenance wasn't like every 6 months, it was every like 2 months. So he was spending more money than the railings themselves. These are all the forgings. This one is in stainless steel. This was laser cut stainless steel, aluminum, steel, and wrought iron, and bronze. This one is forged stainless steel, which could have 2 textures. One, it can be smooth. It shouldn't be mirror polished, at least not with all the level of detail, because it's impossible to polish inside. It's just impossible. There's no tools to go inside, so you won't have it as full mirror polish. We could do it smooth, but also it could have the wrought iron look, like with the hammering. It would be a little bit smoother than wrought iron, but it will last for centuries. This won't go anywhere. It won't rust. This is actually forged stainless steel.
What you're holding is forged stainless
Yeah, forged stainless steel. Before it's polished, brushed. This is forged aluminum. You actually can pass this for forged aluminum, and then there is wrought iron, like detail, and then more forgings. So this one was meant to evolve. It's like a gazebo. Trellis. It can be done also in bronze. In bronze, it'll turn to like it will wear out, especially with the water, with the sprinklers. Other details, so that's hardware, so full pergolas. And then on interiors, really there's a lot of details there. Oh, doors, I would say NOA was like the only door we did NOA, because there were a few doors. That's not something we do, because to run NOA you really have to do many doors. And our specialty is more the custom part. Lengths that you can get, so we have to actually source it 6 months in advance in the farm, and get them cut on the farm to be able to get the lengths, and design something to avoid the curving, the deformation. So all this is a combination of aluminum and wood, thick wood. This is another nice project. So it's actually the sample of these grills. These we call them like Mormon temples, the temple in New Zealand, particularly this one. There's 2 challenges here, one architectural and one like construction. When the architects came, they had everything like assembled. So everything mitered, everything was assembled. To assemble these times thousands of those, pretty pricey or expensive. So we came to a solution of doing a combination of laser cut, milling, and try to minimize the assembly and like the assembly of those. And so you see, it looks like it's mitered and that like it's actually 2 pieces, but the only reason it's mitered is because it is sanded into different directions. So this is exactly the same finish, same patina, same finish, everything, and you see it's different colors, right? And the only reason you see different colors is because of the directions of the sanding and the strengths. But this one and this one is exactly the same direction. I mean, it's
So
exactly the
that's
same.
all of that's one piece. You're
One
saying
piece,
it's
cut and mill here. I mean, sanded into directions and mill here, and then laser cut this area. So actually, this one and this one come from the same sheet of metal, and this is assembled. I'll give you a bigger price if you find how it is connected, not to the base, because the base is just assembled. So that is a good example of to see how finishes are very tricky, especially if you put it against the light or a window, because it's literally exactly the same tone. But if you see it, one could look like 3 tones darker than the other. So it really depends when for us selecting finishes is really one of the key things of a project, and really being mindful of the sanding, the direction, the location. That's something to consider. That one is a very interesting one. For this one, that was just a section, and these all were pivoted, so those are screens so you could be able to service them behind and clean the windows. So they were not only static, so that was a really challenging one. Yeah, because you had to clean the windows behind. So it was really, but they were pivoted every 4 of them. Because otherwise it would be impossible to move them. Because if you pivot that, then basically you're having like huge hinged doors. So they're pivots here, one here, like I think 4 of the big ones and 4 of the small ones, but there are pivots here. Just like tilt them, clean the area. I think they end up buying one of those self-cleaning things, so you actually have to put the thing inside. So. Other sculptural, more on the contemporary side, staircases. This was done in cobalt steel with a brass patina, very similar, more not darker than this, more like this one, kind of like this. Let's see, this finish. So that is really like a you guys saw that one?
This is slide.
So this is a full staircase, all structure, all the cladding, all the openings, and this is matching other metal elements in the house. So this is actually a cold rolled steel kitchen and dining, all the railings and the lights. So everything was exactly the same finish, different gauges, but everything the same tone. Really interesting project. Doors also. We really, in a project like this, we take the entire scope. Another sculptural staircase in corten steel. So one of the things. So do you guys know why bronze exists forever, and instead of not steel? Because steel corrodes, right? You see bronze sculptures from centuries, right? The reason is like this green patina that it forms on top of the bronze, it's actually protecting the bronze, right? The corten steel does exactly the same. So they develop a steel alloy that creates a similar, so this red thing is exactly the same as this on the steel. So what it does is when you get a corten steel, it actually looks exactly like this. When I get it on the shop, it doesn't come like this. So you work it, and then you do the patina, or you let it there. Once the red, all the red is formed, it's actually protecting the metal. So that's why it lasts forever. However, same as bronze, it is maintenance free if you leave it like that, but that doesn't mean the areas around are maintenance free. Because since it's a living finish, it's actually continuing to protect the metal. So once it's protecting the metal, it actually drains. And when it rains, there's red for the corten, or there's green for the bronze that actually like stains the stone. Yeah. So it is maintenance free, but not the area around is maintenance free. That's important for setting expectations, because so that's a good one. Yeah, and actually corten is a brand. It's the technical name for corten steel is weather steel. It's just so corten was the brand that developed the first alloy, and they named it like that.
Is it incorrect to call that patina rust? I've always kind of thought of it
Yeah,
as
it is different, because I can do a patina of rust, which is here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of rust
So
right now.
this is rust.
That is rust. That for interiors,
Right.
once we stop the rusting process, for interiors it will last for a lot of time.
And that's different.
Yeah, corten you would only use it for exteriors. In interiors, corten is
And
really
does it, like if you touch it, does it come off on your hand?
when it hasn't stopped the process, the final process, yes. For a little while
So
it
there's
does.
no way to, like you said here, when we stop the resting process, like it'll stop
On the outside,
on the outside, there's no, cause it's exposed to the elements and
you,
that's
you
what
could
really-
you could coat it, but then you will lose that flat surface, like that flat
Right.
kind of like matte
Mhm.
detail. It's we've never coated actually. Just
It would just have a different look.
yeah, it won't look the same. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. So some other staircases in a different style, more like a sculptural, and then from there, creative ones. This is stainless steel through.
Is this a building?
This is a building, it's a multi-family in Cayman Island, and in this one we designed the facade detail. We did a design assist for the facade, and this is a 5-story plus like two or three more of the detail. And this element here is kind of like the lobby kind of when you go in and drop your card. That's like this is like the detail of this section here. Like when it's like up the floor, this is like on the front floor. And then for this development we did all the railings details inside. And then railings is our bread and water, it's been our bread and water for a long time. This one is the railing that we had over there. So this is a timeless, really timeless product. I don't know if you have like Pinterest, these are like one of the most saved photos of railings in Pinterest. This started like 15 years ago. And that is exactly that. That's the mock-up of that project. It looks like very contemporary, like clean, let's say.
This
but
is
actually,
the iron one, right?
That's the iron one, exactly the same. That's the mock-up. It has a continuous rating here instead of like the legs there, but other than that, it's exactly the same. And there are other railings. That's what really any detail, any design from the Mediterranean, more naive. Something I always share, like we do single install, like pickets are installed one by one, we call it like core drill. In terms of price, sometimes like really just putting a bottom rail, which doesn't look that good, is like lowers the price significantly, because like doing these, that's a lot of more precision, just an insight for the client. And as I was saying, in most of the projects we do the whole scope. So in this particular project we designed everything, railing, the elevator cage, light fixtures, and this particular project we even designed the hose knobs, were custom. The family was called Berry, so there was like a berry kind of like logo and a lot of like details around the house. Very beautiful. They were like just in a detail on the. So all the house, all the metalwork had like these details. Those are like the type of interesting, like nice projects we get in. So hose knobs were included in this one. And then interiors from very contemporary partitions, fire screens or
Is
fire
that,
mantles.
where is that?
This one is in Miami Beach, in Bahrain's. The owner is,
Oh, is this a private home?
it's a private home.
Okay, 'cause I thought I saw something like that in the lobby of, never mind.
Right. And then furniture, some creative projects we've done. This was a collection we did for we designed a collection for the Design Week in Milan a few years ago. Custom collaborations with interior designers where we designed the entire house interior furniture for like one house. And this one particular we designed it for a house in Star Island, and then with the designer we developed like a collection. And then light fixtures, which is sometimes I leave it last, but there's a lot of the things like people cost a lot for light fixtures. We do UL, so we can do custom anything, but also we can do the UL certification on site for any project of from 2 light fixtures to we can do it for 1. The price is a little bit more for 1, but any design from neoclassic to Barocco. And then surfaces that we've been passing around the book really could be used for any interiors, exteriors too. In exteriors we would only recommend bronze, 410. Yeah, that's a good one. Watch out, that's heavy. that is stainless and aluminum. So that the aluminum is the lava is the aluminum piece, and the stainless is never stainless. It's more like artwork. We do a lot. And they can really be used in different scenarios. For these plattings, there's photo engraving, which is like exposing the metal to acids to create textures. There is chiseling, like this one is creating like by hand, actually creating the details. And there is so like this one, for example. This is a nice chiseling. This is photo engraving. Hammering. So really any detail.
I know.
I want to feel the textures from these.
And then the applications are unlimited, a lot of wall claddings, fireplaces. Yes. These kind of like this type of texture. Pass it around. This is all this. Yeah, and then pass it around exactly. And then we do creative projects like this one, metal fabrics, this fireplace screen. Yeah,
I saw an image of like a kitchen range hood in the beginning.
Yep.
Can you go back to that one?
Yeah, sure.
Talk about that project.
Okay, I'll show you.
This one?
So like what's happening here? Because some parts are shiny and some parts are not. What does that mean?
That is,
Was it like lacquer?
yeah, it's coming out. It's no, that is it. I haven't seen it in a while. So this is kind of like this is wrought iron, but what it happens is probably they put a lacquer on top, and it's you shouldn't put lacquer on top, like if it's interiors.
Right.
So it's
worn off.
it's a worn off, yeah. Yeah, but you can do it matte.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just,
No, but
trying to understand.
yeah, but
how
like
to
for
pick
example,
this up
so
and finish
that
it.
is what happens. That is let's put it like that. That's a good example of what happens
Right, if you lacquer something,
if you lacquer with like a shinier lacquer, something that is like a blackened like a wrought iron, because it had the texture of wrought iron. So wherever it was like
The raised part.
the raised parts
Gets rubbed off fast.
get rubbed off faster. That's what happens. And since we touch it all the time, and what happens is we need to clean them after these events. And sometimes we forget.
How did you look at this here? Is this like salt water or something?
It's patina. It's just it's bronze patina.
It looks like spots of like salt water that evaporates.
So the way that one is done, I think that one is submerged. So the thing is like a lot of the patinas, the way they're if you leave more 2 seconds more, the water here, it will be darker than the one here, like 2 to 5 seconds more. So maybe when they put the water, they put the water with the salt, they put it here, and then this one got more exposure to the acid than this area here. You can do it sprayed also. That's like this is what could happen in a patina if you don't do anything. Put like this salt like in front of the ocean. There's like a drop of water here with like salt water. That's normal. It would be very artistic.
This happens in my copper sink. There's like a little drip. There's like a little patina spot.
You had a question about this one before I go to this last one.
Yeah, I just wanted to know a little bit more about it, like the fabrication of this.
So this is in wrought iron, and this one is in bronze. They have a Casimir look in terms of like the rivets. These were more like a countryside, like French chateau style. It is made of flat sheet of metal, so everything that is curved is flat sheet of metal, and all these details are flat bars, like thin flat bars that does the wraparound. Normally when we do the hoods, we do the entire thing. We don't do the range, obviously. We just conservative, but we coordinate to do all the details. This one is a very tall one. The kitchen height was like super, I think it was like, I don't know exactly what the height was like a significant, it was like double of this one. The height, so it was the kind of the main feature of the kitchen. Just to finish on the patinas. Just go back a second. These are like examples of like how creative it could be, where it's like we're just texturized bits of metal really can create like a detail. Like showing this is scrap metal with resins. This one is on top of it's of a MDF, but it could be on a plexiglass, and you can actually lead it from below. It's very nice, really good for countertops, for things like that.
Yes.
Alright.
It's,
I hope nobody cut themselves because it's very sharp. And I was like sharing last this project that it's a kind of an interesting one. This has a combination of a lot of the metals that we use. This part here is cold rolled steel with a smooth texture. This one is cold rolled steel with a stripe texture, and we have bronze and aluminum. See it better here. So this is smooth, this is brushed, this is aluminum, and this is bronze. And the reason you're combining aluminum, people normally don't think of as aluminum like a very rich texturized metal. This was intentional. This could be perfectly wrought iron. That's like the intention. But we wanted to be light because it was meant to hide a TV, to slide in. So if you're putting bronze and steel in the same section, it's going to be very, very heavy. So in this particular one, we did both. We did all of it, not only this was my father's artwork. We did all the design, manufacturing, but also the engineering, and we created special pools to be able to do this because in the market, normally the only thing that exists is for normal artwork, which is very light. So for these, we actually had to like modify the existing systems. It's been there like many years, so I think we did a good job. And afterwards, we actually incorporated like a sound system underneath, so it was a whole thing. You see like a small piece, but it was really a whole thing. And one of the last things is my father does art commissions for anybody, for private clients or for projects. So these are a couple of his artwork. And it's a combination of metals and other materials like wood and glass. Detailed textures that you see here. We have a big shopping studio for him. And yeah, that's like the.
So how artistic are you?
I'm artistic. I'm not very artistic. Just don't have time. I'm an architect as well, and a designer. I did both degrees, so that's why. And actually, most of the team is like the project managers. I'm project manager, all architects, because I think that's the key for us to be able to be able to support the process, because we don't really, I don't like our projects and everything's not transactional. It's not. I'm not gonna sell you a cladding. And just sell you cladding because there's no point for that. We really get involved in all the detailing, making sure the project is actually like feasible from the beginning, and then when we turn it over, it's actually what you envision, and we collaborated to create. So yeah, I tend to.
Is the ring and the earrings yours too?
Oh no, I don't. No, they're not. That's something people ask me a lot of that. Like, I should do jewelry. I did when I was in school, but I never did it again. But I love the patinas. That's my. If you ask me, that's one of the things that I really, really like a lot. That's my. So those are specialties, and all the metals really. Anything, even Monel, nickel. Normally we price a lot of that. Rarely gets done because it's really price-wise. It's like 2 times, 3 times more than even bronze. So, but yeah. So, and we combine it, as I was saying, artistic glass, woods, and raw fibers. The artistic glass, that's some of the things we do in-house for specialty projects, more artistic ones. We can fuse glass. We have all the furnaces for casting, so we can actually do some of the glass. We do it more like a creative thing. Like we won't do because like all the fused glass is really not for normal architecture. It would be like something more artistic. It's not temper and things like that normally projects require. It's a little bit of family behind it. My parents, founders. My brother and I, we work. We're about 100, and I should update this, 80, 90 people right now in Colombia and 15 here. We do full service, so we do full design and we do the installation here. Our installers are based here in Florida, and they travel for projects all over the U.S. and the projects outside. The installers come from Colombia. This is like where we have projects, a little bit of our presidents, what we're passionate about. So metal design, when I make consultation, especially with like staircases, that's something. It's really it's important to get it done early as possible, because every stair has a different. Even if you have a very similar shape of the stair, weights, deflections, all these things of the design really get a lot of involved. So most of the structural part, the civil things like that, we really get involved a lot before. Even if there's not a lot of like we love to be involved in the design, but if it's just technical, the engineering, pre-engineering, and the design process is key for any sculptural staircase. Turkey project, so design, develop, build, and install, and then collaborations. And then we also do historic restorations or metal restorations, obviously pricing engineering, value engineering for your projects, and for UL certification for light fixtures. So this is a little bit how the project looks like. We normally come in and do a design consultation, understand the scope, understand a little bit what are your needs, what's your idea, timeline, and everything, how we can actually help get the customization process, make the magic and the installation. And then here's a few accolades. I think that's it. And the computer froze.
At some point, I stepped out earlier, but at some point, did you show the one staircase that you had a mock-up of? It was quite large and industrial looking.
I saw it. I showed it. Okay.
That was really impressive, especially to see in person.
Yeah, that's a mock-up we cannot bring to.
Yeah.
It's this one. Yeah, it is this one. It's a four-story. It's a four-story tall. It's kind of industrial.
Mm-hmm.
It is all done in regular steel, so wrought iron. So all this has really the texture of the wrought iron, and the top handrail is in bronze. So it took like a year to fabricate, because it's a four-story tall with platform landing. It goes to like a tower in a Texas house, like a ranch. So it has like a tower overlooks like the whole property. So it's super nice. Yeah. This actually these are photos of the construction, because we saw it like last year and they haven't finished the project. It has an elevator in the middle, which we want to take photos before the elevator goes in, because even though it's like full transparent elevator, it has some columns that will prevent us to take so. But yeah, that's a very interesting project. This project in particular, we did it from, the client just came with an idea before, I think they even broke ground with the idea of the stair he wanted, and we presented options of the pickets, different options of the balustrades. We did the mock-up that we brought to the event was actually the mock-up that we brought to the client 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, you guys, after we installed the railing, they're like, oh, we're gonna throw, what are we gonna do with this? We're like, just ship it back out, like use it in our showroom. But yeah, so that's like from the mock-up to the completion, it was probably like a year and a half or more in engineering, because these particular, I really actually see it. So there's not a continuous stringer, so it's basically like step by step. So it's only connected on the riser. I don't have a photo here, but yeah, it's only connected on the riser vertical section. So it's really assembled like a Lego, because it doesn't have, like, when you see the section of the stringer, it's really short, the continuous part of the stringer. So that's a really intense challenge, and that's why these internal posts come in, and there's a few connections to the wall, and a few elements, because it's kind of like floating, and the stringer is really challenging. That are like the kind of projects. Thanks for bringing it up, because I really passed pretty quick on this one. Thanks. Any questions? Anything? Here's like when you stand up. There's a few of like the patina tones from like very light to very dark. This is the patina, and this is the painted faux patina that we normally combine. This is the blacks, which are not that smart, that interesting. This one's really interesting. So this is the light patina, in patina, and in paint. Oh, this is another one, stainless steel notched. You can pass it by, but that's something we try to hide as much as possible, weldings. I am very, obviously when I walk around the world, I only see weldings. So we really try to like hide them from everything. Because I think the weld, there's seen some projects in industry where you want to see the weld, but other than that, weldings usually are not the most aesthetical, beautiful piece things. What else I think?
A little bit earlier, you said, I couldn't hear the whole sentence, but you said something was like 3 or 4 times the price of bronze. What
Okay,
were you
so
talking about?
Monel, you know about Monel?
No.
No worries. Nobody uses it, but Monel is kind of like it's a metal. It looks like steel, like wrought iron, like kind of like has that texture, but it's completely stainless. It is kind of a very pure alloy, I think, but it's like 3-4 times. And nickel also. So when we say nickel, a lot of times we see specified nickel and it's nickel plated, which is different like nickel, the metal. Nickel can be twice as much as the bronze or the stainless steel. And also there's 316L, which is a little bit more in terms of price, also on stainless properties. Copper also, we use copper. However, copper, unless you're using gutters or roofing, also copper has a very similar problem of like the stock. Copper comes a lot in sheets, but if you're using like a bar, a flap, tubing, there's not a lot in the stock. So when you're designing, there's limitations. And really, copper is too malleable, so it's not very structural. So if you're doing a railing in copper, it wouldn't be as structural, so you need thicker gauges. And really, you can get any finish in copper, you can do it in bronze. So a lot of the finishes here that look like copper in that book are actually bronze, that we take them to like a copper finish, and you can do it almost everything. Almost like, unless you want to like polish copper, that's obviously you need polish. You need copper. What other materials? Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes, that does answer the question. Thank you.
Any other questions? There's some books here from images that you want to see. I think I took a lot of your Friday lunch time.
And that is the process, no?
Is any of this staying here, or am I taking all of this?
This is actually this and that kind of fine box over there. That's something we're developing. It's called the it's like kits.
Oh, okay.
So that we can bring it for like studios like this for your it has a sample of the forges, things